Well, Danielle came to me and she's like, my friend told me that you asked this girl that you work with out to grab wine. I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, that's what I heard. Is it true? And I was like, okay, so first of all, define ask out because I did not do that. And she was like, she was like, well, did you or didn't you? And I was like, we were talking about wine. I didn't want to go home. I'm trying to make new friends, honey. It's not. It wasn't a advance on her. You know. I was just asking, like, if you want to take that in consideration, I have asked out way more dudes at work than I have girls. And she's like, I don't know if that makes it better. Do you like her? And I was like, no, I don't like her. I'm just trying to make friends. Unfortunately, everybody I've asked out after work, there's just got to be something wrong with me. There just really does. I can't make it fly on Match. I can't make it fly at work. Like, everybody's busy. Like, they're just busy. No, I can't tonight, man, but sometime soon. You know? I don't know. Maybe that's my life. Maybe that's, just what I'm destined to do. But, yeah, so that was an interesting conversation to have. It really was. Ladies, a bit of advice. Just because a guy's being nice to you and asks you to do something does not mean he's asking you out. It doesn't. I know 80% of the time it does. But not always. Sometimes they just want to get to know somebody new. Not get to know carnally, but I just mean, get to know. It's like so dumb that like some girls would like take shit so far out of context when I literally meant nothing by it. Like, I just didn't want to go home and fucking watch Netflix and fall in a fucking broken bottle again by myself. And luckily, when I fell in that bottle, like, I didn't have anybody here. I mean, nobody was here. I wasn't going to call an ambulance. I wasn't going to do that. Didn't really have anybody else to call. But ironically, I think I just got confirmation. Yes, very nice. I just got confirmation, ironically, while I'm talking about this girl who thinks that I was hitting on her, that Danielle just is celebrated her 10-year anniversary at her work, and I sent her flowers for it, and I just got an email confirming, that it was delivered. So hopefully pretty soon I'll get a text from her being like, "You're awesome," and I'll be like, "I know." But so anyway, I fell on this piece of glass. I'm bleeding all over the place. I don't have anybody to call, so I call Danielle, and she tells me to take a video of it, like take a picture or video or whatever, and send it to her. And then that, bless her heart, she like found something for the kids to do somewhere, and then she came over. Obviously, she didn't want the kids to see me like that. And she came over and she dressed the wound and, took a look at it and made sure all the glass was out and all that stuff. And it was very sweet of her. But I just, I just wanted to point that out, that girls, every time a guy talks to you, it doesn't mean that he's trying to fuck you. I promise. I know that that's like the going joke with every like stand-up comedian, and I've watched a lot of them lately just because all I have is Netflix, and I only get to see the kids like twice a week. And if I'm not at work, I'm at home because nobody from work wants to go out and grab a beer, and I have very few friends, and I prefer it that way because I know it doesn't sound like I am because I'm trying to make new friends, but I like keeping my group of friends, I've been down the road where, I just let everybody be my friend. And it was not beneficial to me, to my character, to my feelings. Like, it just wasn't. So, like, I prefer a tight group knit of friends as opposed to a large, weak Facebook, kind of group of friends. So, but anyway, yes, girls, just because a guy's wanting to talk to you doesn't mean he wants to fuck you. Again, I understand that that's the, the common saying in the comedian world, and guy world, and I don't blame you for thinking that, seeing how there are so many douchebags out there that that can really, I'm sure, put a pinch in your day. But yeah, not all of us are like that. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and take a break. Coming up after the break, I want to talk about something that's not personal, if you don't mind. McGregor and Holm lose their fights. Manny Pacquiao and Bradley are getting back together in Vegas. And then I just want to talk about Vegas. That's coming up after the break. Thank you guys for listening to the Bill and Joe Show.
You're listening to the Bill and Joe Show. Whatever.
The Savings Mart is your one-stop shop for brand names on just about everything. They carry many quality brand name products for seriously discounted prices. One of such great brands is Medca brand, M-E-D-C-A brand, which you may know by now because of its high quality of their products and by how much variety they have to offer. Medca has an extensive range of products from health to household to toys. If you use it, they make it. You can also find them on Amazon.com. Just search for Medca, M-E-D-C-A. And this stuff is like seriously discounted. Now's a good time to go buy it. So make sure that you go to Amazon.com and search for Medca, M-E-D-C-A. Hey guys, after you're done listening to our show, we want you to go check out another podcast. It's called Broadcasts from the Basement. It's a podcast where two loudmouth nerds discuss video games, films, and the media culture as a whole. Listen as the hosts help you sift through the oversaturation of media content and help figure out what's good, what's awful, and what's really not that bad. Subscribe to Broadcasts, plural, from the Basement on iTunes, and be sure to leave a review. I've listened to a couple of their shows. It's very entertaining. I recommend that you go over and check them out. And if you like video games, which I do, and film, which I do, go check them out. You won't regret it. With his 15 years of quality assurance, Roy Backpack Barron, B-A-R-O-N, knows that he is the right candidate to cut the bloated size of the federal government and restore America. Click on this hashtag and learn how we can do it together. Hashtag NationBuildUSA. Hashtag VoteBackpack. Mr. Barron has hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. He frequently uses his platform to advocate for the Constitution of the United States and to educate the public on all public policy matters through stunning interviews with the highest echelon guests on Voices of Global Freedom. Mr. Barron, most informative of addresses included living at homeless shelters, Young Men's Christian Association, YMCA, and hostels across the United States have been the address for Mr. Barron for almost 5 years, April 1st, 2016. This is when he wrote the award-winning book, Looking Glass Shattered. He is uniquely qualified to represent hashtag We the People as your president in 2016. Join Roy Barron and learn what he put in his backpack, quote unquote, to restore the American dream and ensure we Nation Build USA. Learn more on his website. Go to roybarron.com. That's ROYBARON.com. Are you ready to Nation Build USA? Join our backpack for president today. With rumors of financial collapse and martial law in the U.S., I am sure that many Americans have thought of fleeing the United States but did not know where to go. This is a Christian community project being started in Canada. American Christians are needed to invest and move into this community, which is located in the beautiful Atlantic Canada. Canada is much safer, has more human rights, and the Canadian dollar should hold strong if the U.S. dollar crashes. Visit otgministry.com and click on the link that says Flee the USA. For more information, please visit O as in October, T as in Tom, and G as in George, ministry.com.
You're listening to the Bill and Joe Show. Whatever.
And welcome back to the Bill and Joe Show. It's just Bill. Don't worry, we'll be fine. So some pretty big fights just happened. Not this past weekend, but a week before. And I know that we're a little bit late on the subject because we missed last week's show. But McGregor and Holm lost their UFC fights. And I called the McGregor fight. I don't know enough about UFC, to be honest with you, to even call any fights, to take an educated guess or anything like that. I don't. But I do know watching fighters, watching how they act, at the press conferences when they're sitting next to the person. I do know how to read people pretty well. And I didn't see the Holly Holm press conference with that other girl that ended up choking her out with 40 seconds left in the fight when Holm was ahead on the cards. I mean, that's got to be a crushing blow for her. I feel really sorry for her after, being so high after beating Ronda Rousey. This has got to be as low as she's gotten, because, when you're winning a fight and then you let your guard down for like 2 seconds and then you end up losing, it's an unfortunate way for her to have lost. I wish she would have, just gotten beaten, instead of, beaten in a matter of 20 seconds. But I'm sure that sets up a very interesting fight between her and Rousey, which will make a lot of money, and I will definitely watch it. This particular fight, though, not only did I have to work, but I didn't really want to see any of the undercards. The only one I wanted to see was McGregor and Diaz, because one of the fights that I have watched start to finish was Diaz, and if there's one thing I know about this dude is that he likes to talk trash, he likes to mock you in the ring, and he's really, really good at it. Like, he'll get inside your head. And I called that. I told my buddy, Vinny Valdez. You can find him on Stitcher and iTunes. Vinny No Filter. He's got a great podcast. Him and his girlfriend sometimes do it. Sometimes he has guests on the show. I've been on his show before. It's a great show. He's a great guy. Make sure to check out Vinny No Filter on iTunes or really anywhere on podcasts, SoundCloud. But I told Vinny, I was just like, so what do you think? And he's like, I'm calling McGregor knockout in the second round, I think is what he said. And I was like, I don't know, man. I like Diaz. He's like, don't get me wrong, I do too. And I mean, it's hard not to like Diaz. It's hard to like McGregor. I've always thought that. Like, I've seen his fights before, and I've seen his, shit talk before the fights before. And I've seen, a lot of him in the news lately. I've gotten a pretty good gist of who he is. And I just told him, I was like, dude, McGregor's going to come in here confident as all hell. Which I don't know why, because he moved up 2 weight classes, but he's going to come in here just overly confident because he does think that he's God's gift to the UFC. I truly do believe that. Like, he thinks that he is a gift. That we are all, never mind the fact that we're paying the money to buy him his Lamborghinis, but he thinks that we owe it to him to buy him Lamborghinis because that's how good he is. That's my impression of him. Diaz, I don't think he gives a shit about the money at all. I think he just likes the down and dirty, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. Like, this is a kid, I think he's from Brooklyn. I mean, this guy got into the UFC to beat the shit out of people. Not to be this, international icon where all you do is talk shit. And I understand the element of talking shit in, combat sports, whether it be UFC, boxing. Like, and I totally understand. My favorite boxer is David Haye. And nobody can talk shit like David Haye. Nobody. He is awesome at it. So I understand that there needs to be an element of it. But at the same time, when David Haye talks shit, like, you understand that he really does believe that. You hear it in his voice. You see it in his eyes. Like, McGregor, I think it's just a front. It's a show. He won a couple of fights, and good for him. And that's great. And he won a belt, and that's fantastic. But when you put him in a ring with somebody who is not there to show off, is not there for the publicity, is not there because we owe it to him, I told Vinny, I was just like, I think he's going to talk shit throughout the whole match. He's going to get McGregor off his game, and he's going to take him out. I don't know how. I don't know enough about Diaz's game to know if it's going to be knockout or submission or, whatever. But I told him that, and he was like, you're crazy, man. You're crazy. I like Diaz, but he's going down. So, Vinny, I don't mean to say